Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Full disclosure, I've only been up for a couple of hours as a recording of this video. I've been in bed all day, my hay fever has been killing me, and for all the people that go, get yourself to the chemist, get some antihistamines, get some Sudafed. I have antihistamines, they can only do so much for me, so I haven't eaten for about 24 hours or so. So if you don't mind, I'm going to call up and order a sandwich, a nice sandwich from... Hello, is that subscribe to this channel? No, it's Subway. Oh, right. Are you sure it's not subscribe to this channel? No, it's definitely Subway. Okay, my bad. Sorry about that. Cheers anyway. Sorry? No, I don't. All right, bye. Asked me if I knew where the nearest school was. What's all that about? I don't know. Never mind. Weird. So, you may or may not have heard. Probably not. Why? Because there's no interest in Doctor Who. So why are you doing this video, Az? Because I want to. As Billy said. Oh, of course. You know, from Doctor Who season... Well, the first season of the new batch. Because I want to. Because I want to. Why'd you play that music so loud? I don't know. Anywho, Doctor Who has not received any Emmy nominations whatsoever. It's received an Emmy snub. Now, I'm not going to play that this is something massive. Doctor Who actually very, very rarely, if at all, gets Emmy nominations. But the difference this time around, of course, is this season of Doctor Who just went full-on woke. Absolute full-on woke. Now, I must confess... Oh no, that's Brittany. Not Billy. I was actually in team change it up. Change Doctor to a woman. Why? Because I thought the series had got stale. I did feel as if the series needed a bit of a shake-up. And to play around with the fact that you got a Time Lord that, yes, can gender change. Yes, that is a recent thing that was brought in, of course. It just might switch up the dynamic. You know, be interesting to see if they got the right lead, where this series would go. Now, to me, the right lead would have been somebody... Joanna Lumley would have been perfect. If they could have got Joanna Lumley, she, of course, played Doctor Who in a comic relief episode. And she automatically had this gravitas to her character, a little bit cheeky as well, with the Master. So I thought, oh, this could actually work. And then Tilda Swinton. I know Tilda Swinton's a film star, but my God, how good would have Tilda Swinton have been? I think she could have brought something quite special to the role. And they got Jodie Whittaker, and I thought Jodie Whittaker has got good acting chops on her from Broadchurch and whatnot. What I didn't know is that Jodie Whittaker was just a horrible person. A horrible person. When you think of Doctor Who, what do you think of? You know, no, sorry, let me rephrase the question. When you think of Doctor Who, what audience do you think of with Doctor Who? Now, I'll be honest with you, I think geeky, you know, nerdy type of people, love sci-fi, you know, that kind of crowd, quite inoffensive, quite introvert. You know, I kind of think of these as the Doctor Who fans. You know, and I don't mean that in any disrespectful way whatsoever. I think of the same if you think Star Trek, and we'll talk Star Trek soon as well. But Jodie Whittaker comes out and it just kind of goes on about how Doctor Who's always catered to the white male gaze. And it's just like, what are you on about? What are you on about, woman, you crazy woman? The thing that makes Doctor Who so good is there's the Doctor who shines head and shoulders above everyone else. And then there's the companion who we can relate to because we are them. We are the average person. And so there's normally a good bit of sexual tension between the two. That's a good thing. It makes for an interesting show, even if they don't immediately bond. Or if you have a bit too much of that, you can get the good thing like we had with David Tennant and what's her name? Donna. I'd say Donna. I can't remember her real name at the minute. Where they had that good just friend dynamic, because, you know, he's a bit sad, really. Lost his missus, his potential missus. So that kind of worked as well. Or the unrequited love that Martha gave him. There was, you know, it works well to have that sort of dynamic. But to say that Doctor Who catered to the white male gaze is ludicrous. I mean, it's bonkers talk. It's what somebody says when they're fucking bonkers and they don't understand the series and they don't understand how Doctor Who has developed throughout the years and all that kind of jazz. But Chibnall, Chris Chibnall, who took over as showrunner, just went full SJW. And he broke the cardinal rule of sci-fi. And what really is the cardinal rule of sci-fi? If you want to discuss social matters, you translate it into your universe. But Chibnall's too thick and stupid and a bad writer to do that, so he does it literally. Oh, I'm going to take the Doctor to Rosa Parks. Now, if he had any intelligence, if he actually had any true creativity, he would have created an episode that would have been in space on another planet where you could use the same themes of Rosa Parks, but translate it to another race of people. And that way you can, you know, intimate and hint at what this is about, but let people determine in their own minds, oh, that, you know, that kind of sounds a little bit like this or a little bit like that. And you portray it in a clever way, and it doesn't look like you're shoving it down people's throats, and it doesn't look like you're demonizing a certain group of people. You know, and it doesn't also look at both sides of the coin, how there are a lot of how a lot of white people were pro-black and pro equality. No, just dismiss everybody, tar them all with the same brush. It was pathetic. And then similar things were done with Demons of the Punjab and whatnot. But from what I hear, I got to say from what I hear, why? Because I dipped out after 2 episodes. Because episode 1, I didn't think was terrible. I just thought it's incredibly boring. And I didn't think Jodie Whittaker asserted herself as the Doctor. And then episode 2 was not just only incredibly boring, but really bad. And there were things that it kind of contradicted from episode 1. And the Doctor herself, again, lost in the melee of these 58,000 companions that she'd now got. And then at the end of the episode where it said, coming up next week, and it was like Rosa Parks, I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not here to get preached to. I'm here to try and watch some interesting sci-fi. If it was Star Trek, The Next Generation, Star Trek, The Next Generation, and Star Trek, the original series as well, and to be honest with you, some of the others, but I think the original series, and particularly The Next Generation, dealt with social issues fantastically. Because what they would do is they would be very broad about it. They would take a social issue, whether it be homosexuality, whether it be something like that, something which, can cause a bit of a stir in society, and they would translate it to an alien race and project it back on us. And not only that, they would, instead of just them being single-minded and saying, this is wrong, wag the finger, they would normally have a member of the crew play that devil's advocate role. They would normally have that person in the crew that would say, how should we proceed? And there would be opinion to one side and there'd be opinion to the other side. And then Picard would make his decision if he wasn't kind of focused. Sometimes he did get focused, and it was interesting. And one of the best episodes to deal with this, and you could transcribe this to homosexuality, you could transcribe this to transgenderism, you could just transcribe this to multiple things, was the episode where William Riker fell in love, or certainly at the very least, had very strong lustful feelings for a member of an androgynous race, where they didn't specify a gender. They didn't specify male or female. They were androgynous. And people who leant towards more female or leant towards more male were actually sent away for, what they call, not reconstruction, but reprogramming almost. Almost kind of like lobotomized to get rid of these feelings. And you could transcribe that to homosexuality, to transgenderism. But it was done in a very clever way, because William Riker was a heterosexual male in the show. And the member of the androgynous race that he was attracted to was leaning female. So although it wasn't a normal relationship per se, to Riker, it fit in with his sexuality. He was straight, and this androgynous person leant towards female. So it kind of fit into his kind of bubble. So he found it very difficult to understand why this society wouldn't let this person decide whether or not they wanted to lean one way or another. And Star Trek always didn't have happy endings. And with this story particularly, this person was taken away and they were reprogrammed, brainwashed, whatever you want to call it. And then they lost all those feminine feelings and became part of that androgynous collective group again. Sad episode. Great episode. Did it lecture anyone? Did it preach? Did it demonize? No, it put out it put out the feelers for people who are just like anti this, and it put out some of the feelers as well on a balanced perspective about the way that some people feel about their societies and collectives. Because Star Trek is a lot more clever when it comes to these things. Used to be. Don't even get me on Discovery. So things like that are the way that you should deal with those social issues. You should try and present it in an open manner and open for interpretation by the player, by the viewer. It's the gamer coming out of me. But of course, not this season of Doctor Who. This season of Doctor Who was about lecturing, was about browbeating, was just about trying to push a narrative. And therefore, they believed, I'm absolutely sure without any hesitation, that they were going to get submitted to these awards. Why? Because when you do stuff like that, it's like Oscar bait. You know how some films are classed as Oscar bait, which means they deal with these issues and they are Oscar films. They are literally made to pander to the people who nominate from the Oscars. And so that's exactly why they're made. Are they made for mainstream audience? Are they made for our true entertainment? No, not really. They're pandering to something. I believe that these episodes by Chibnall, I thought he was being clever and pandering towards the woke award. Because that's what they tend to be, more woke than not. The award establishment. And they would pick up an Emmy and then he could clutch his Emmy and say, I did this for you, for a voice, for this, and virtue signal to his heart and content while he clutched his award and patted himself on the back and said, what a good person I am. Aren't I great that I ticked all these boxes while destroying a beloved franchise in the process, which I don't care about at all, because then I've got my award, people now recognise my talent, and I can go off into another franchise and destroy that, as we've been discussing all week. Actually, I think we should call this week of videos Woke Week. We'll call this video Woke Week. And you just have to briefly, because I know I've been rambling on for a bit, but I just want to briefly look at what they wanted to be nominated for. Best Drama Series. Absolute ludicrous. Best Drama Actress. The woman who alienated herself, no pun intended, from her true audience. Best Supporting Drama Actors. Bradley Walsh, he was alright. Tosin Cole, he was a blank slate to me. In the two episodes that I saw, Best Drama Supporting Actress, Mandy, she was awful. There you go, look. Best Writing Drama, Rosa. Award bait. He did this for award bait, to say how great am I? To try and have people say to him, how great were you to be so brave? It's all about brave in awards, remember? Oh my goodness, did you see that actor? They were so brave to put that makeup on. Okay. Am I brave when I'm hungry? Shit. Okay. So, you know, how brave were you to tackle this on fully? No. How blatant and obvious and pathetic and demonizing you were. And alienating, again, people. Best costumes, best music composition. Sorry, this... I didn't even recognise... When I say recognise, when Murray Gold's music comes through and Doctor Who, you can feel it. It's almost by osmosis. It just filters into you. And Murray Gold did a stunning job. I can't even remember a single snippet of music from the first 2 episodes. Nothing. But that's just, as I said, I only had 2 episodes. But this is for a specific episode. Best production design. Narrative, period, fantasy, 1 hour or more. The Ghost Monument. Which was the second episode, which was garbage. Sorry. Right, so just looking at that, you know, there's nothing there. I mean, that would be the bait. This would be the bait right here, and the Emmys didn't take it. So even in their ultra wokeness, unfortunately for them, they couldn't get anything. Maybe if you try and be a bit more clever and take issues like this and actually use your brain and try to translate them into a sci-fi story that fits the universe that you've decided to take over, you might have some more success. But I highly doubt it, because I don't see a single scrap of talent in what I saw so far. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links, they're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.